Today I do an Apex Legends tier list of who I think are the best legends and who I think are the worst legends. First up we have F tier, and there's only one legend who falls in the F tier category, and that is Watson. She's an F tier because her fences can be easily avoided or broken. Her passive is bad because 1. You never find ultimate accelerants, well I never do at least, and 2. Ultimate accelerants basically already get up all your ultimate, so yeah. And the ultimate, getting rid of explosives is pretty bad how it is, and it heals shields very slowly. I mean, it's like just really slow. And also it can be broken, not by explosives because it destroys explosives, but you can shoot at it and it will eventually break. So that's why I put Watson in F tier. Next up we have D tier, and at the bottom of D tier we have Pathfinder. Pathfinder falls this low because first of all he has no passive. Second of all, his grapple hook is good, but it has a ridiculously long cooldown, and you'll most likely end up bouncing into a wall or a tree or something like that, and it's so ridiculously hard to use. And his zipline isn't good because if you try to push people with it, you're basically a sitting duck as you come, because 1, you're pretty slow, and 2, the enemies are probably good at the game. Next up, after Pathfinder, we have Crypto. Crypto is bad because his drone is good, but it can be easily destroyed. Also, people can easily move out the way of the area of the drone which it scans. Also, most scanning legends can do what he does, but better. And also his EMP can be easily avoided. You can destroy the drone. Also, if it does hit, it does only a little bit of damage, and it slows you down for only a little bit amount of time. So for now, he sits at D tier. Next up after Crypto we have Mirage. Mirage's passive is good, but other than that, his abilities aren't that great. His tactical, when you use it, they probably won't shoot it because you'll know it's a clone because you'll see all the little particle effects. And even if they do get fooled by it, it only gives you a couple milliseconds of time, which isn't a lot of time if you do the math. And its ultimate just isn't that good because it can be used for escapes, but most of the time your enemy is half decent at the game and will figure out which one isn't a clone and kill you. And that's why Mirage sits at D tier, because he's just not that good of a legend. Then after Mirage we have Fuse. Fuse's passive of holding more grenades and making them shoot more accurately is a pretty bad passive. His tactical can be used to do damage, but most of the time you'll end up doing damage to yourself, which isn't good. And his ultimate can be easily avoided because you can see him shoot it, and almost every single legend can get out of it because at least every legend has one movement ability. So that's why Fuse is in D tier. Then after Fuse we have Catalyst. Catalyst passive, being able to reinforce doors, is good, but the limit is 2, and most buildings have more than 2 doors, which makes her kit worse. Her tactical is good for getting in damage, but for playing defensively, it's not that good because it can be easily avoided. And then her ultimate puts you in a bad situation because you can't see the enemy, they can't see you, so it puts both you and the enemy in a bad situation. Also, if you do it out in the open, most mobility legends can go over it or around it, and that just makes her kit a bit worse, so that is why she is in D tier. Next up at the top of D tier we have Vantage. Vantage's tactical is good for mobility and for getting out of bad situations, but other than that, her kit is pretty bad. Since the whole point of her kit is to get in sneaky sniper kills, but with a passive, it may be good for getting easier snipes. On their screen it shows that you've been marked, which lets them know that you are trying to kill them, which is a good amount of time to get out of there, meaning you can't get sneaky sniper kills. And that makes her kit a lot worse, so that is why she is at the top of D tier. Next up, we have C tier. These are the legends who are good but are outclassed by other legends since they provide what they have but better. The first person in C tier is Ballistic. Ballistic's passive of being able to hold a third gun is okay, but other than being able to hold another good gun, it doesn't really do anything. And then we have his tactical, to overheat weapons, but whenever I get hit by a ballistic tactical, my weapon works perfectly fine, so Ballistic, your tactical doesn't work, get it fixed. Then his ultimate is good because you can reload faster and you move faster, which is good because you can go in for a push and you are much faster than them and you reload faster, meaning you will most likely win the fight. Then, after Ballistic, we have Loba. Loba is in C tier because her passive is barely useful. Like, when was the last time the passive helped you out? Her tactical can be good, but has a ridiculously long cooldown. And the ultimate of stealing items can only be used at the start of a game and is never really useful towards the end of the game. And that is why she is in C tier. Next up, we have Bangalore. Bangalore's passive is good, but other than that, her kit doesn't really do anything, since her tactical will most likely put you in a bad situation as well as the enemy, and her ultimate can do lots of damage, but it will also most likely do damage to you as well, and that is why we put her in C tier. So, yeah. Next up, we have Wraith. Wraith's passive is horrible because it never activates, and when it does, it states the obvious. But other than that, her abilities are quite good, as the tactical is basically a get out of jail free card, but it does take 5 years to activate. Also, her ultimate can be good for going up for healing, but it can't be good for pushing in on the enemy to secure the kill. So that's why we decided to put her in C tier. Next up, we have Seer. Seer is basically a worst bloodhound because his tactical gives like a little warning shot, meaning you can easily avoid it. When it does hit, it's pretty useful. His passive of a heartbeat sensor is pretty bad because other scan legends can scan the area without having to be extremely slow. And his ultimate is good, but it has been nerfed to the ground because now if you stay still and heal, they can't see you. So that is why we put him in C tier. But even though he is in C tier, he's still pretty useful. So, yeah, that's Seer. Next up, we have Lifeline. Lifeline's passive is great for reviving people, and a tactical can be used to heal up a team, which is really useful, but her ultimate is really bad because it's easier to just loot up the items you get. Also, it puts a marker on you saying, hey, my team's here, come kill me. So that's why she's in C tier, because her tactical and passive is good, but her ultimate is bad. Next up, we have Gibraltar, and he is amazing legend. His passive is good because it's basically just extra health. His bubble is good, but you can go in the bubble to push them while they're healing, So that kind of is a downside. And his ultimate pairs well with his tactical, but if you don't have his tactical with his ultimate, then it's pretty bad. Next up we have B tier. These legends are good, but are not amazing, and are not as good as the A tier and S tier legends. And the first person up in B tier is Bloodhound. Bloodhound is the best starter legend of the 6, since he's an amazing tracker legend whose passive is good for finding people, his tactical can be good for finding people as well and scouting out the area, and his ultimate, when he uses that, you know you're done for, because you can't get away because he's twice the speed and he will know where you are because the footsteps are there. Next up we have Caustic. Caustic is the best trapper legend in the game, since his traps do a lot of damage, slow down your enemies, and they can block doors. Also, his ultimate lets him play offensively while being a defense legend at the same time. And something else which is great is that his team can go through the grass, which is amazing because if somebody goes through your gas, then you and your team can push them and secure the kill. Next up we have Mad Maggie. Mad Maggie's passive is great because you're able to move really fast with shotguns, and a lot of people have shotguns when they play this game. And the tactical is basically just free damage, and there's no cover for the enemy team because you'll just use your tactical over and over again. And the ultimate can cause a lot of mayhem indoors, but outdoors it doesn't really do that much because it can be easily avoided. That's why we put her in B tier. Next up, after Mad Maggie, we have Ash. Ash's tactical is great for forcing people into one location and securing the kill, and the passive is great for hunting people down, and her ultimate is a great escape tool and is basically just a better Wraith ultimate because it's good for pushing in on enemies or getting away really quickly. So that's why we decided to put her in B tier. Next up we have Newcastle. Newcastle has the best revive. Yep, you heard me, best revive. Boom, take that Mirage, Lifeline and Gibraltar, your revive isn't as good. And his tactical is basically just a better Gibby bubble because you may be able to destroy it, but you're able to move around with it, meaning you're able to relocate while being behind cover. And his ultimate is amazing because you can quickly fly in to save your teammates when they need you the most. So that's why we decided to put Newcastle in B tier. Next up, we have A tier. These are legends who are great legends but are outclassed by the S tier legends. And the first person up in A tier is Rampart. Her passive is horrible, yes, but her tactical is great for securing cover and playing defensively, and her ultimate is great for causing mayhem and playing defensively, and now you're able to hold the minigun, so you're able to basically just create mayhem and play offensively with Rampart, and that is why we're putting her up in A tier. Next up we have Horizon. Her passive is really bad, yes, but her tactical is great for getting up on the high ground and looting, and her ultimate is great for a getaway and escape. But some legends can counter her ultimate, which kind of puts her down a little bit, but she's still an amazing legend, so that's why we put her in A tier. Then at the top of A tier we have Revenant. Revenant got a crazy buff this season. His passive is much better since he has the same passive which he normally had, and now every enemy hit below 40 health will be scanned. His tactical is great for pushing in on an enemy or getting away or just looting up and annoying your teammates, and his ultimate makes him tank so much health, which is great. So that's why we put him in A tier. Next we have Esther. These are the legends who are crazy broken. They're just amazingly good and need nerfs because they are too good. And the first person in Esther is Valkyrie. Valkyrie's flying ability is amazing because you're able to make a quick getaway or get to the high ground. And the tactical is great because it's great to push the enemies out of cover. And if you do hit, then you've basically secured the kill. And the ultimate is great for getting your whole team out of there and into the sky to get away. But you're able to shoot them while they're flying, which is a bit of a downside because you can still kill them. So that's why she is in S tier. And finally, at the top of S tier, the best legend in Apex Legends, we have Octane. Octane is the best legend because he is able to play offensively, defensively, and supportively. His passive is amazing, like it just tops off your health. It's so good. And his tactical makes you so speedy, like you're at the speed of light. That's good for engaging on an enemy or disengaging or just looting up and annoying your teammates. You pick which one you want to do. His ultimate is great for killing enemies, getting away from enemies, looting, killing. Yeah, but anyway, Octane is the best legend in Apex Legends. Anyways, that was my Apex Legends tier list. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry if your favourite legend wasn't in A tier or S tier. But anyway, I gotta skedaddle on out of here, so subscribe and bye!